Welcome, everyone. My name is Susan Patterson, and I am a national leader in the fight against human trafficking. I have talked to thousands of parents, educating them on how they can protect their children from sexual predators and sex traffickers. In the first part, I covered the ways predators and human traffickers trick minors into becoming victims. In this part, I will cover the tools you can use to prevent victimization and how to talk to a child who you believe is already engaged online with a sexual predator. If your child is currently being trafficked or has been trafficked, then see this video, How I Got My Daughter Away from Her Sex Trafficker, which was done by a single mother who shares what she did and a program that she facilitates for parents whose children have been trafficked. The best protection for a child to resist a predator is a strong family unit. Family dinners are important, where the family gets together without any devices and talks. Let your children know that you believe in them. If you don't validate them, a predator will, and they'll be drawn to that in a very powerful way. There are many apps like Circle and Bark which will monitor your children's activity and send you alerts of things like bullying, sexual predators, things like that. However, these apps have limits. You need to check often for pictures your children might be receiving, as what these apps look for are keywords in a text or email, and they won't pick it up if it's in a picture. New apps are coming out all the time, so just Google stealth apps to monitor children. It is very important that you control their internet access. Turn your Wi-Fi off at night, take their cell phones away from them, and charge their cell phones in your bedroom. Children are often up all night talking to sexual predators, and many of them are looking at porn half the night, which is very dangerous because these children become very susceptible to being trafficked. Remember, any device like a tablet, a gaming system, etc., can use your Wi-Fi to get on the internet. OpenDNS.com blocks porn at the Wi-Fi level. By blocking porn, gambling, etc. at the Wi-Fi level, then no device in your home can use your Wi-Fi to get on the internet. However, your children can still get on the internet with the service provider that their phone uses, so their phone also needs to be blocked. For porn users who watch porn every day, they often will advance to more violent sites with younger and younger victims. They may wind up as sex addicts, domestic violence abusers, sex buyers, and/or pedophiles. Fight the New Drug has studies that show that a teen brain has a more powerful brain reward pathway, which means they are more vulnerable to becoming addicted to porn and drugs. They also have an app for teens called Fortify, which helps teens get off of porn. In addition to internet access, don't buy games that state sexual content. There are many games where players have sex with their characters, and it is graphic. In many games, players can purchase various types of sex acts like a lap dance in a strip club. Just Google video games with sex to get a complete list. No game or app is safe for a young child. Before you buy any device for a young child, make sure you ask the salesperson how to block access to the internet. Before you provide any access to the internet, the child needs to be old enough to have attended a sex education class so they understand what sex is. They also need to understand what a predator is and how they operate. NetSmarts for Kids has great videos that you can use to educate young children. For teens, NetSmarts for Teens has videos of teens telling their stories of how they were tricked. When some tweens or teens know that you are using a monitoring app, they can be very clever about how to avoid your ability to monitor them. Many teens will set up a second account at their Instagram. Now, you can download everything to the cloud and set up their phone to do that, but that takes a lot of time to have to review all that. What's much simpler is to log out of their Instagram account, have them do it, and look and see if there are several options to log back in. That's how you find second accounts. From time to time, you want to look for a second cell phone because predators will send their victims a second cell phone. So when they run away, they take that cell phone with them. This way, the police cannot track them. From time to time, parents will challenge me on doing all this with questions such as, don't our children have a right to their privacy? My response is, with 1 out of 5 children being sexually solicited by a predator while on the internet, who has a master's degree on how to trick children, do you really want to be the parent whose child disappeared, where then you're racked with agonizing guilt because you didn't do enough to protect them? The response is always silence. Children and teens will often buy a second cell phone from their friends because kids are always getting new phones, so they sell their old phones. If you don't know about that second phone, you will have zero ability to monitor them, so you need to look for that phone. For the parents who are smart enough to take their children's cell phone away at night, they will often set an alarm on their phone for midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning and walk into their children's room to see if they're on a device that they weren't aware of. I don't want to disillusion anyone, but teens lie. I certainly did. If your older teens, like 16 or 17, object to having their games blocked, then just play their games with them or walk into their room from time to time. Tell them to unplug their headphones so you can hear what's being said. This will give you an idea of what's going on. With regard to porn and young children, this book by Chris Jensen, Good Pictures, Bad Pictures, is ideal. At our website are also resources for parents on how to talk to young children about porn. We now have 6-year-olds who are porn addicts because their older brother introduced them to porn. Her resources are age appropriate, and right below you can find the web address for her site. Make sure your children know to only send pictures to people they know in real life. As soon as a predator has a picture that your child sent them, using geotags, they can find out exactly where your child lives. Anyone can go to YouTube and find a video like this one where they can learn to find geotags in a picture. In real life is the key. Telling your children not to talk to strangers no longer works, because if a child is texting back and forth to a predator 50 times a day, that person is not a stranger. They're a friend. When you are ready to give your children access to the internet, you need to have rules. They need to be age appropriate, and there needs to be clear consequences and rewards. If your teen or tween says, "Don't you trust me?" or "I'm too smart to be tricked by a predator," your response could be something like this: "Yes, I trust you, but I don't trust the thousands of predators out there who have made it their job in life to trick tweens." Or, "You may be smart, but they may think of something you've never thought of. Smart kids are getting tricked all the time." So what can you do if you suspect that your teen or tween is talking to an online predator? Keep in mind that there is no one more determined, especially a teenage girl who thinks she's in love. If you forget that, you could get resentful for how hard they try to hang on. If you say something like, "Oh my God, you're probably talking to a predator," they will probably disconnect from you and make sure they keep that relationship a secret. Opal Singleton has worked with thousands of families whose children have been trafficked. Her advice in these situations is to plant doubt. Instead of criticizing the boyfriend, say something like, "You are so lucky to have a boyfriend who loves you so much and is so devoted to you. Where did he go to school? Where does he go on vacation? How many brothers and sisters does he have?" Her book, Seduce: The Grooming of American Teens, is an invaluable resource. Doubt will have your child begin to disconnect. If the online boyfriend avoids answering these questions, you are planting doubt in the minds of your children as to whether or not their online boyfriend is real or not. If the teen asks too many questions, often the predator will disconnect from them because that makes them nervous. What we have learned from interviews with predators in prison is that they are often working a dozen women or more at once. So they need to keep their story straight, so they give out very little information. Predators will fight you for your child. You need to keep it up, even if they're giving you pushback. If you keep up your fight, the predator will eventually give up because it's becoming too much work to try to trap your child into their game. And unfortunately, there are plenty of easier targets. Remember, you and your child are up against a gang of sociopaths. You don't need to be paranoid, but you do need to be vigilant and take the time to bond with your child, which will make them less vulnerable to a predator. It is really important that you meet with the parents of your children's friends and ask them to watch the 2 videos that I created for parents and create a set of rules that you all agree to. One parent group that I know of agreed that anytime the tweens and teens come over to one of their houses, they take away all their devices, which puts the teens in a position where they have to talk to each other or maybe play a game like basketball, which is healthy. If you're the only one doing something like this, then the other children won't want to come to your house and your child might wind up being ostracized. What it takes to beat a gang is a more powerful gang. And there's no more powerful gang than a group of parents with the mama bear and father bear instinct to protect their children. So let's get together and educate each other. If you have watched both these videos all the way, I really want to commend you for your commitment to your children. Do support our work by subscribing to this channel and liking and sharing our videos and leaving great comments. Thank you for watching.